The live's already started, so we're live. But I'll see you in a minute anyway. Let's play the video.
From the depths of the internet, a podcast did arise. A trio of loons with cigars in their eyes. They've invaded the world with their smoky surprise. The Cigar Loons, they're oh so wise. Lunatic invaders of the cigar world, spreading smoke and laughter, their stories unfold. From the finest lips to the wildest tales, the Cigar Loons never fail to prevail. With their witty banter and infectious glee, they've captured hearts, you see. They're more than just smokers, they're a family, united by cigars, a brotherhood free. Invaders of the cigar world, spreading smoke and laughter, their stories unfold. From the finest lips to the wildest tales, the Cigar Loons never fail to prevail. They've got the knowledge, the passion, the flair, a podcast powerhouse beyond compare. So light up a stogie and join the affair. The Cigar Loons are always there. Lunatic invaders of the cigar world, spreading smoke and laughter, their stories unfold. From the finest lips to the wildest tales, the Cigar Loons never fail to prevail.
I love that song so much, I tell you. I do. Absolutely love that song. But hello.
Is it number one yet?
No,
Has
it's
that
still
got-
on the top 100. It's still on the top 100.
We're getting there.
Still on the top. Still on the top 100. We'll get there eventually.
Still
But hello and good
climbing.
evening anyway.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah. Hello and good evening and welcome, of course, to the Cigar Loons podcast on a Tuesday. I know, of course, we weren't going to go live tonight because we're live on Thursday, when our special guest on Thursday is going to be the Leaf Cutters Gang. So, of course, we've got the Leaf Cutters Gang on Thursday, which we can't wait. Of course, tonight, it's just going to be myself, Grumpy, and it's going to be, of course, Tobacco G-Sticks, Jesse, tonight. And, of course, we've already got Gary watching, so hey up to Gary, one of the Misfit Brothers.
What's up, Gary?
Hope you're all right, Gary.
What's up,
Thank you for tuning
Gary?
in. But what we're going to do tonight on the show, we're going to talk about how you pair got into cigars, and then, of course, getting into the Cigar Loons group. And then what we're going to do for the second part of the show, we're going to go over some subjects of what we've seen arising in different things. And I ate, of course, EAA Exotics, so hope you're okay, and thank you for tuning in. But yeah, so Grump, I'm going to go with you first. How did you get into cigars, my brother, and when did you start smoking cigars? And of course, what was your first cigar that you smoked, basically?
Well, it was way back when. I guess I was probably the first thing, was a Swisher Sweet, and the regular box Swisher Sweet. I was probably as senior in high school when I had my first one, probably. but what I really liked once I found them though back in those days, uh, there was two companies that made them. One was Antonio Cleopatra, and the other one was Grenadier or Grenader or something like that. But it was I discovered Candela wrapped cigars, and for a long time that's all I'd smoked. But and that was like 76, 78 back in that era. And then in 88, I think it was when I started driving a truck, and I just naturally would pick up a handful of knockoffs every week at my local B&M before I left town, and and mainly when I got into it, I mean, I didn't know beans from Chinola about it. I just smoked what tastes good and what I thought smelled good. You know, that was
Yep.
that was my biggest thing. Same way when I started with a pipe. It was really the air freshener, the aroma, the aromatics of it all, more than it was anything else. But it all started back in the mid '70s when it all started, and the very first thing I smoked was a Swisher Sweet. And like I said, I found those box cigars in the stores right there with them and tried those. And for a long time, them Candelas was all I'd smoke. Matter of fact,
Cool.
this one, I got one tonight, but this one's the Arturo Fuente Curly Head.
All right.
There you go.
I was going to ask
So,
you, of course, what cigar you were going to be smoking tonight. And of course, Gary did say this is smoking the 2012 by Oscar Vivaldez. And I've smoked
cool.
it. It's a great
Nice,
cigar.
nice.
Enjoy. Of course, I want to just say hi to everyone on Instagram for tuning in. And of course, on rumble.com for tuning in. And want to put a shout out, of course, to our fellow brothers. Of course, Cigar Kid. And of course, Vital and Proof, Matthew. So I want to put a shout out to them. Of course, they're not here tonight because they've got plans. So they are doing their plans. But we'll get down to you now, Jess, of course. And how did you start in cigars? And what was your first cigar that you started smoking? And when did you get into it?
Well, my first one. Well, let's background, I guess. I grew up, born in Puerto Rico, grew up, in Puerto Rico, and as other Caribbean countries, Puerto Rico is also very, very big with their cigars, and it's, part of the tradition, and you couldn't go to the plaza without seeing all the old men playing dominoes with a cigar in their hand. You know what I mean? So it was something that I already grew up seeing, and my first one was a Cohiba Habano. Then I was like,
I'm not laughing at you, Jesse.
I don't know.
I'm reading the comment.
I
That's
think I was
Whiskey
like,
Tube. It's Whiskey Tube. It is.
oh, okay. Yeah, no, I think I was like 22, something like that, when I had that first Cohiba Habano. And it was that's it. That was it. That was the I smoked it, and I never went and got another one, anything like that. It wasn't until later on, maybe 6, 7 years later, that I started really getting more into whiskeys and stuff. Then that's when I started getting into more of the cigars.
Liquor did it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, something. We all start somewhere in cigars, and like you said, of course, you had a Cohiba Habano that you had, and then basically it was then whiskey that took you down the road. But of course, for everyone that's watching, what cigar are you smoking tonight, bro? What cigar have you pulled out tonight that you're smoking?
I have the Crown Heads Mil Diaz today.
And that, of course, came by our great guest of last week, Miguel. So Miguel, of course,
Yes,
from
sir.
Crown Head, sent out a care package to everybody. And we're so thankful for Miguel, and we do thank him for that. And tonight's cigar for me is the Black 2 by Cavalier Cigars, and it's a Toro. And I've smoked this one a couple of times, and I wasn't fortunate enough when we had, of course, Brian on from Cavalier to smoke a Cavalier, and then I found out they were in England, so now I've been just buying them left, right, and centre and smoking them. The great cigars. But of course, we've now got another one of our followers, and AJ. Hey up, gang, wrapping up
Hey,
a Crown
what's
Head
up, man?
Series E, and yeah, Crown Head Series E, another great cigar, and we hope you're enjoying, of course, your 50 cal cigar poker that
Very
one,
much.
AJ, and we hope you're using it.
Oh,
So,
buddy.
of course, we found out how you got into cigars. So, what was it that
I like
made
to
you
burn
both
myself. See, look at that.
enjoy cigars so much to the point?
It's
Holy
time.
shit, that's broken. Only on the Cigar Loons podcast do we have a broken light here, cigars that get run over, and a crazy punch. Crump. It's got that technical word that we call fucked. And it's just going to burn your fucking feet. It's going to burn the fucking
Well,
plastic.
shit.
And then
You're gonna
Oh,
burn
my
your fucking
God.
hand.
fumes.
Hold my beer.
You're gonna burn your little wieners there.
Holy shit, only on the Cigar Loons podcast. But yes, so I've lost trail of thought now.
I missed.
But yeah, so like I say, of course, what was it that made you really enjoy cigars to the point where you got the passion for it now of smoking cigars regularly? Because as we all know, there has got to be something there that made us carry on down that cigar journey, smoking cigars.
Oh yeah.
So, Jess,
Oh, yeah,
I'm going to go with you
absolutely.
first, and then I'll go with Grumpy. But what was it that made you enjoy cigars so much?
You know,
Was it?
when I switched or not switched, but when I started getting into bourbon and whiskeys, you know, there was a change in the kind of people I hung around with. You know, I used to hang around with a lot of, you know, hoodlums, and then, you know, I can't say nothing about them because I was one of them, but, you know, then I you know, started growing up, and I decided to try whiskeys and started hanging out with a different older crowd than, you know, they were all older than me.
The OG hoodlums.
And they, you know, they kind of showed me the path a little bit on the cigars, and a little bit more on what I could be looking for. And they taught me really how to take my time, which was the biggest thing. Because when I first started, it was like, you know, like if you're puffing on a cigarette or a blunt or something, and of course you ruin the cigar when you're smoking it that way. And yeah, no, I mean, they kind of showed me the way. After that, I kind of started just smoking, you know, every time I could, because I was working way too much. So like birthdays and Father's Day and stuff like that. If a friend of mine had a kid, I would always get a cigar for me and him, stuff like that. And it wasn't until recently that that I retired that I started smoking more because I had the time, you know. And that went from just enjoying it to really tasting and learning how to taste the notes, and how to somewhat, you know, in the beginning you're like, oh yeah, I've had a Habano, I've had a Maduro, but in your mind you really don't remember what it tastes like. Now you, oh, that has a Cameroon wrapper, I know what that tastes like, I think I'm going to enjoy that, you know. So now the growth has happened.
Yeah. So, of course, what about you, Grumpy? What made you fall in love with cigars to the point of where you are now smoking cigars? And what got you
Well,
really into the love of cigars, my bro?
I mean, it the whole driving thing, it was just like a relaxer, It's a something to just keep your mind off of traffic stress, stuff like that. When I was in the truck, that was my source of enjoyment for 'em. But then, uh, probably, and seriously, of course, I've had to come off the road in 13 because of the crash, fractured neck, stroke, and all that bundled up and lumped up into one. So that took me out of that. And for a long time, I kind of had just kind of let the cigars drop, after that, because it was kind of, I wasn't going anywhere, and I wasn't thinking about, keeping that going. And then probably maybe 2 years ago, no more than 3, really, I don't think. Uh, I for some reason somebody gave me one. I think it was one of my son's bosses gave me a cigar,
Yep.
and that just kind of, it just
Lit
kind of
that fuse
sparked
in you.
things. Only this time coming back in, I'm like, well, I'm not driving anymore. That ship sailed. Uh, I've actually got time to look into this, just see what's behind the cigar, what's behind the making of a cigar, what goes into it, what kind of tobaccos, what's the difference between the wrapper, the binder, and the filler, the
Yep.
whole. It was like I smoked them for so many years and enjoyed them, but I didn't know jack rabbit about them. I didn't realize until I started getting into it. I didn't realize that what a hand rolled cigar. No matter the brand name, no matter the size or whatever, but a hand rolled cigar is somebody's skill and artwork on display. You
Yep.
know, and once you start getting the different appreciation, then you want to start getting the different tastes. And I had probably smoked every wrapper known on a cigar prior. I knew which ones I liked the flavor of better, but I didn't have no clue whether it was a Maduro, a Habano, a Connecticut broadleaf, or a Sumatra. I didn't know. I didn't know one from
Yep.
another. I just knew what I liked the taste of, but I couldn't go in and tell somebody what I was looking for because I didn't know.
Yeah.
So
And
I've kind of rabbit holed a little
nice.
here and there on it, to try to learn,
Yeah.
you know. So I'm just not stumbling through anymore.
Yeah, but you know something? That's a great point. What both of you brought up about, of course, learning about the different binders, the wrappers, the fillers, the companies. It's like when I started out. I started out 15 years ago at a New Year's party. Was given a cigar, lit it up, hadn't got a clue what I was doing. To the point I threw my ring up. But then again, I was probably too much intoxicated to be even smoking a cigar because it was New Year's, of course. But it then was a normal thing. There's every New Year the cigars would come out. So then I got smoking another cigar. And I took appreciation for that next one because it was a Cuban cigar that I was given. And I was told a bit about it by, of course, the person that gave it me, which sadly isn't here no more. And we smoked it. We had a great time. And then it was like birthdays. We'd have a cigar around a birthday or an anniversary. And I took a break from it. I took a break from it and was like, no. Then I got back into it again and still, of course, smoking Cuban cigars. Then I found out about New World cigars when they came on the market, and we had a big insurgence of them. And I mean, early, early '90s to back end of the '90s to then in the 2000s, more and more New Worlds were coming. So then I was exploring more, and it'd be the odd one after work. Then, of course, when I had the kids, it'd be one outside. Then it wouldn't be one. Then I got more into it. Then I took another break away from it due to stuff that went on in life. And then got that surgence into it again, which was smoking them every day and smoking 8 a day, sometimes 10 a day. And now, of course, it's maybe 2, 3 a day. But it was learning. It was learning about it and the nuances of the notes, and of course about the company and about the wrapper, the filler, the binder, the countries where it's grown in different things. And of course, that's how I got into it. But of course, Grumpy, how did you get to be a cigar loon, my brother? How did that come around to becoming a cigar loon?
Well, it all started on that that other platform over at the Tic Tacs or whatever it is. There was a bunch of us over there that like to go live every night, or 2 or 3 nights a week anyway. And we like to smoke cigars, and some of us had trouble watching our mouth, and get banned, and we get banned for everything over there. I mean, smoking a cigar, or you say the wrong words, or you get, and we all got tired of it. So we started this Discord channel, and somewhere along the way, some bird brain bloke come up with some kind of stuff called Cigar Loons, and it kind of stuck. I mean, we're all crazy, but one thing, I don't think they realized that a loon was an actual bird when we started this, though. I don't think they realized that.
No, I didn't, and I'll put my hand up to it. I didn't know what a fucking loon was.
But no, that's what I mean. We used to get together on TikTok 2, 3, 4 nights a week, smoke cigars, shoot the breeze, and everybody get these flags and restrictions and all that. 10 minutes here, 10 minutes that. So we got tired of it. Set up yours. So we didn't cancel our TikTok accounts. We just don't go there and go live. We got Discord now. You can go in there and you can talk. You can say what you want to. You don't have to talk some special Chinese language. You can call somebody what they are. You don't have to make up words.
Nope.
Somebody try to figure out what kind of code you're typing in. That's about nonsense. Sorry, didn't mean to get you railing on that, but
No, it's true though, isn't it? It's true because, like we said, I met you, Kurt, of course, Matthew, many different people that were cigar loons, and of course they've gone on to different adventures that they want to do in life. And we, of course, put the Discord together so we could smoke cigars and everything and not have these restrictions, because even though we didn't mean it in an horrible way, we used to call ourselves a retard. And of course, retard is in the dictionary. We didn't mean it horribly to anyone, because we understand it can be used as a horrible word towards disabled people. And we never used that. We were just messing about one another. So that's where we were getting these restrictions, of course. But we made this, and of course, we near enough every other night we go live, and then, of course, play poker, have a chat, and do different things, and that was that. But how did you find the Cigar Loons, Jess, and become a cigar loon? How did you find it, my brother?
Well, just like everybody else, I was on TikTok, and excuse me, sir. It's just so rude. But I was on TikTok, and I was doing the cigar thing and trying to build, my followers. And the funny thing is that the first day that I was actually able to go live, I went in, did a live, Gas showed up, and he was there, and within, I don't know, what was it, 5 minutes, they shut my live down.
Yeah,
And
that was
Gas,
probably bad omen, brother, for coming on your live. That's probably why you got shut down, because you had a bad omen of me.
yeah, he was, after that, he messaged me and was like, "Hey, we got this Discord thing," and kind of went downhill from there. Just kind of rolled right down, and now I'm part of this rabbit hole of the Cigar Loons.
Life ain't never been the same.
Down the old crazy hole, as we call it, the crazy loony bin. But no, it's, something. We've always said the Discord's open to anyone to come and join us. Doesn't matter if you're a new cigar smoker, seasoned cigar smoker, male, female, bi, gay, straight, whatever you are. It's open to everybody to come in, sit and enjoy a cigar, and of course, getting on the chat with the rest of us, and that's why it's open. And of course, we've made friends with other groups, like of course the Cigar Misfits, the Leaf Cutters, different people out there that we get on with, and they're making great content on, of course, TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, different places. And of course, this is why we've been doing some of the shows with different people, like of course the Misfits. We've got Thursday with the Leaf Cutters. Next month we've got, of course, Sticks at the Shore from Instagram, who's going to be joining us. And it's great that we've got this platform where we can sit, speak about cigars, learn about other people who are smoking cigars, and figuring out what they smoke, because we're all smoking different. It's like us three tonight. We're all smoking different cigars, and every time we get together, it's someone smoking a different cigar, unless, of course, we do a theme night, and we go, right, we're all going to be smoking this cigar tonight. And then, of course, we do a theme night where we smoke that cigar. But, of course, I'm going to go down to you now, Jess. And I know you put a blog out today. I've seen it pop up a couple of times. So, the blog about, of course, what the storm's just done to Cuba. And I just want to go over that and get your take on that and get some details out of it for, of course, our audience watching. So I'm going to go down with you on this one, bro.
Yeah. One of the hardest thing about, Caribbean is, hurricanes. And no matter how much, you can try and prepare for one, as we all know, with Florida and everything, I mean, you just can't prepare enough. And when it comes to agriculture, I mean, what really can you do, right? Other than cross your fingers, say a little prayer, and hope for the best. And unfortunately, the hurricane went right on Cuba. Thankfully, it was only a Category 1 when it hit, but it was enough rain to flood a lot of the places that normally don't flood. Places that normally don't get flooded were 2-3 feet of water there. So a lot of tobacco fields are just mud a pool, and just the plants are ruined, and now it's time for them and the government and everything to do the best they can to get that going again. And I wonder how this is going to affect the Cuban cigar industry, because as it is right now, the Cuban cigar industry is not doing the hottest like it used to be. Even countries like Switzerland that are huge in the Cuban cigars, they're also not doing so much of it. So I wonder what is going to happen. What is going to come out of it. Obviously, I hope the best for all of those farmers. But I don't know how this is going to turn out for the Cuban cigar industry.
Well, I'm not a tobacco farmer, and I don't, know what their cycles and planting cycles and different things of that are. But with knowing what we know about the length of time it takes for the fermentation process, the aging process and
Mm-hmm.
everything like that, what I'm thinking is with what just happened, we won't actually know the full effect of what it did until a few years down the road, because they're not going to be, so they're not going to have anything to put back to ferment, to age, and all of that. So,
Yeah.
What kind of dent is it going to be, 3, 5, 6 years down the road when they should have, all of the tobacco coming out ready to roll cigars, but
Mm-hmm.
that crop went down the river back in 24.
And how much,
It may not have an
and how
effect
much tobacco do they
tomorrow.
have on stock too?
Yeah, that's the
Exactly. How
thing.
much you have in reserve? How long can you survive? How long can you go? Because what you had in the ground, you know, what you intended that for, that ship sailed. That's gone.
Yep.
So
The thing is,
we
you've got
may
to
not see
look.
it immediately.
I don't think we'll see it immediately, and I think what we'll
I'm sitting
see,
in the
of
Right.
dark.
course, is still the it's still who me. I'm still here. You'll see, of
I
course,
see the black
the
box.
you'll see the emergence, of course, of the cigars still being on the market in Switzerland, of course, Europe, and wherever, of course, they buy them. You'll see whatever they've got that is already made out. What it'll be is the next time they make cigars, then we'll see, of course, that where they haven't got the tobacco, that's been ruined because of this storm.
Right.
So then we'll probably see a knock on where the market in Cuba will slow down and we won't see many Cuban cigars being made and on the market. And there might be a cap on how many cigars can be brought, because I know here in the UK last year there was a lot of places that didn't have Cuban cigars because they sold out. And because of these
Yeah.
different storms, it held the production up. Then, of course, now pretty much they've recovered. They've got the cigars back in and they're selling them again. But I know the market here has been up and down with Cubans, and we've seen more, of course, New World than what we've seen of Cubans hitting the market.
Yeah, and I wonder, if that's going to affect the prices of them too. Or are they going to get more expensive now?
Depends on what it does for the supply and demand side of things. I mean, that's just like with the whole story with the Connecticut broadleaf, being short. Well, if that don't straighten up, you can look for cigars rolled with Connecticut broadleaf to go up in price. I
Yeah,
mean,
that is true.
yeah. I mean, if it's harder to get the tobacco, then you know they're gonna pay more for it to get it. So you're gonna pay more for it to smoke it. So it'll eventually get down to you.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just, I think it's going to be pretty crazy for them getting out of this, especially with the way that the industry is with the Cubans right now.
Yeah, well, it definitely puts a kink in it. I mean, question is just when's that kink gonna clog the line?
Yeah, exactly.
How far down the line is it gonna be before it shows up and rears its ugly head?
Of course, I've seen a
Of course,
couple of times.
this the whole Cuban cigar thing. See that this would be a good time to. I mean, I'm not going to, but this would be a good time to interject a good joke about Cuban cigars. I mean, hell,
I apologize.
what's
I do.
well, no, but really though, when it comes to that, what's one more flavor note, man? A little dirt never hurt. I mean, you know. But anyway,
Just
But it's it's a good point that we've gone over it, and this is the thing. But of course,
and
what's your guys' take on Davidoff? On Davidoff bringing a $750 cigar out on the market,
what?
is that way too much money for a cigar to smoke, or do you
hell
reckon it's
yes.
just a niche market? If those people who've got the money, they're going to buy a $750 Davidoff. So, Grump, what's your take on a $750 cigar? Bro, would you buy it if you had the money, or would you go, nope, there's too many cigars on the market for how many I can get for $750?
Exactly. No. I'm sorry. I'm, I've no. There is no way. I mean, you know, that I'm going to pay a half payment for a cigar. Yo, you don't make one that good. Not in my mind. I don't care who you are. You can't make one that good. Get $750 out of me for a single
Yeah.
cigar. You ain't getting $750 out of me for a box. I mean,
Yeah.
Can you just imagine though the box price alone of what you're going to be paying on
Oh
that? Because
God.
you think
well,
it's $750 a cigar, and Davidoff have called it the Oro Blanco, and of course it goes for the cost of $500 per cigar? Question mark, but officially it's $750 each. And they've called it the Davidoff Oro Blanco Special Reserve 111 years. He says the new cigar will be
White
released, which
gold.
was yesterday, and the cigar was originally scheduled to launch today, but of course, because of Hurricane Milton, it stopped. But it says it's a follow up to the 2014 Davidoff Oro Blanco, which at the time of release was the most expensive non flavored cigar on the market, Cuban or otherwise. It also makes Davidoff's first vintage cigar. It's the tobacco inside was Banner for the 2002 crop, and it comes in a Toro. It's 6 inches, be 54 in gauge, but $750 a cigar. It's crazy. Who in the right mind has got $750 to put into a cigar? I haven't.
Yeah.
And
No.
what's your take on it, Jess? What's your take on it?
No, the average cigar smoker, and by average cigar smoker, I'm talking about people like us, and even people like lawyers, doctors, maybe even actors, right? That have the money to be able to smoke a cigar every single day, maybe a few a day and stuff like that. I don't think that the average cigar smoker like that would, just for the hell of it, pay that amount of money for a cigar just to smoke. I think that's really just for the extreme wealthy that are gonna buy one and put it away and never fucking smoke it. You know, the extreme collectors and stuff like that. It's like it's like earlier today I was just having a conversation with my wife's cousin about the expensive cigars, and how Gurkha has the most expensive cigar at $1.25 million. Like $1.25 million for one single stick is beyond ridiculous. you know but then again, for some of us, a $40 cigar is too expensive. I was talking
Yeah,
to Matthews a few weeks ago or something like that, where he's a AJ fan, right? So Monte Cristo paired up with AJ, and they're coming out with the new Monte Cristo M that's coming out for here in December. And you know, being that he likes AJ, I sent that to him like, hey, look what AJ's coming out with. And he said, "Oh man, I don't know if I would pay $30, you know, for a Robusto," which I get it, but at the same, I mean, all of
yeah,
them are within all the sizes. They got five
Come on,
sizes, I
man.
believe, coming out, and they all are within the $30 range. Um, I don't know. I've bought a
yeah.
couple of them that are $30. You know.
Snap. You know something? You've only got to look at, of course, the likes of what, of course, Rocky Patel did. He wanted, of course, that nice expensive cigar, which of course he brought out, which was with the
Yep.
gold Tiffany box that he brought out, and then he also brought out, of course, two cigars, which were the smokes, and they were like a $2 cigar that he brought out because he wanted to have a cheap budget cigar for everyone to afford, and then that nice pricey cigar to afford. I think,
Right.
in my eyes, if you've got the money and you're not worried about money, you're going to splurge out. If you haven't got the money, it's going to be one of them cigars you're never going to sell. And Davidoff at the moment, especially from what I've seen, I'm not seeing many people that are smoking Davidoff. I enjoyed the odd Davidoff, which of course the Yamase, or I might have, of course, the late hour. But still,
Mhm.
even them prices over here in the UK, I'm paying say £40 to £50 for the late hour. The Yamase,
Okay.
I'm paying about
Oh,
the same
hey, did you
price.
say you got me one of them
And that
things
to
down
me,
there?
for, for one cigar, is a hell of a lot of money for just one cigar. And you've got to look at it. There's plenty of other cigars that are out, especially New Worlds or different ones that we can get,
Mhm.
and we can have more cigars for that price of money. That's one of the
Yeah.
biggest ones. But the next
Well,
subject, of course, Casa
well, here,
Magna.
real quick,
Yeah, go on, Jess.
real
See what you can say, bro.
real quick. I was gonna say, just like Grumpy said, you, how good are you gonna make that cigar taste? You know what I mean? I personally have spent the money on, Padrones, um, and till this day, me personally, have not found a Padrone that I like. You know, and Padrones aren't exactly cheap. So how is it that you're gonna guarantee that this, you know, $750 cigar, $1 million cigar is gonna be a fantastic smoke? I mean, I don't see it.
You know something? I've just seen a couple of comments, of course. The Leaf Cutters is saying hi to Gary, and Gary, of course, has said hi to Ben. And one of the comments on Instagram is from one of the Leaf Cutter brothers as well. And Andy says, Gibbs has that money, he's just too stingy. That's what Andy said, one of the Leaf Cutters. But it
Who's
is,
that now?
you've got to look at it. It's just crazy the amount of money on different cigars, and especially when they bring out that high roller cigar, as we would call it.
Hmm.
But to me, you know something, like we've said, there's that many cigars we can get for $750. And that's the thing. Now, the next topic of conversation is Casa Magna now using San Andreas Maduro wrapper. So, what do you reckon on that,
Mm.
Casa Magna? Because Casa Magna have normally not used that kind of wrapper. They've used the Colorado wrapper, stuck with Nicaraguan blend. They've stuck with a Dominican blend. They've mainly stuck to what they know, and this is a new avenue of. They're bringing out this wrapper, and from what I believe as well, they are using the darker San Andreas wrapper. They're also going to not use the same international blend as the Casa Magna Colorado, which is all Nicaraguan. This new cigar is going to be a Nicaraguan binder. The fillers are going to be from Nicaragua, the United States of Pennsylvania, of course, the Dominican Republic, and it's going to come out in a Robusto. Robusto is going to be $11.50. Toro is going to be $12, and the Balicoso is going to be $12. So, what
That's
do you
not
reckon
bad.
on that? Of course, having Casa Magna with Mexican San Andreas. What's your take on that? So, Grump, we'll go with you first.
Good selection. I mean, I would like to see what it, what it will give them as far as, labor profile, things of that nature. But now I do like a good San Andreas. So I mean, I would be game to throw in the fire at one to see what they're doing with it. I would not rule that out at all. Hint, hint.
Jess, Jess, what about
Yeah,
you?
no, I think that's a great thing for them. I really do.
Yeah.
Um, to step out of your comfort zone. Um, I think that's really the only way to expand and grow. If you stay in your comfort zone, you're going to stay where you are.
Yeah.
They obviously want to move forward, and I think this is going to be a great thing for them. Especially with the popularity on, the San Andreas and the broadleaf. I think that flavor profile right now, I think is something that a lot of cigar smokers are looking for, is those broadleaves in San Andreas. So I think
Yeah.
I think this is gonna be a great thing for them.
But do you reckon at the moment the market's being flooded with Mexican San Andreas and broadleaf? Because just look at what we've had out. Of course, Foundation, broadleaf. We've had, of course, Drew Estate with the blackened M81. Now, of course, Casa Magna.
Mm-hmm.
Do you reckon there's that many that are using, of course, the blend of Pennsylvania or, of course, Connecticut broadleaf, the San Andreas? Do you reckon we're going to see a dry up of them wrappers and, of course, them fillers? Because as we know, we've heard Connecticut broadleaf is very hard to come by, where
Mhm.
Pennsylvanians not. We've heard different places have had to outsource to go to different factories and get it. So do you reckon we're going to see a dry up, or do you reckon we're going to constantly see this? Because to me, I think a lot of companies now are using pretty much the same kind of wrappers as another company, the same kind of fillers as another company. Okay, it's a different
Yeah,
taste altogether in the cigar, but I think they're catching up to, well, if they're going to bring one out with San Andreas, I'm going to bring one out with San Andreas. If they're bringing one out and it's Habano, I'm going to bring an Habano one out. So, what do you reckon on that? Do you reckon we're going to see it just flooded and then we're going to run out, or do you reckon we're going to see a lot?
Well, I really think that it's really going to come down to the um, the specific blend that they're going to be using. I really think that's going to be the biggest thing that's going to set any broadleaf, any San Andreas apart. It's going to be the way they use their blend, how they put it together, how do they make the flavors work in a way that they're going to stand out from the next broadleaf. They're going to stand out, from the next San Andreas. A perfect example is, with crowned heads. I had the Coroneta Maduro, really, really
Mm-hmm.
rich, dark, beautiful wrapper. And the smoke, with having that Connecticut shade in there and everything, it blends everything in such a smooth way that it's not the same as any other, you know, San Andreas or broadleaf. And I think, if anything, I think this is just gonna be maybe a boom, perhaps, for the Mexican San Andrea.
Yeah. What about you, Grump? What's your take on it? With, of course, now using San Andreas and using, of course, Connecticut and broadleaf or Pennsylvanian broadleaf, do you reckon we're going to see a flood of it and then it's going to dry up, or do you reckon we're going to see it still around? What's your take?
Well, honestly, I think right now what is going on is a lot of these guys, they're playing that little game, you know, they're trying to keep up with the Joneses. You know, this one's brought this out. So it's like you said a minute ago. This one comes out with something, so now I've got to come out with something. I've got to keep up, or I've got to one up, or I'm going to get left behind. Well, that's all fine and good, but what it's creating with everybody grabbing the same tobaccos to try to do something, that it's coming down to what kind of talent and skills does your blender have?
Mm-hmm.
What does your blender know? What can your blender put together with what you have available that can give you a little bit of a different twist, using a lot of the same tobacco that your competitors are using, but your blender may have a little extra juice in there somewhere that puts you out there a half a step ahead of them.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it's coming
point.
down to. It's coming down to a blender's skill game, because here
Yeah.
again, we may not be talking Cubans, but we're talking everybody moving into the same corral, trying to use the same 4 tobaccos to blend 13 different cigars.
Yeah. And that's a good point. You've got to have a good blender. You've got to have someone who knows what they're doing with that fill, the wrap, and the binder to bringing out a great cigar.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, we knew about the TTA going to be going on, of course, in Aruba, because Miguel told us that he was going to be going. Of course, the new Lost Angel was going to be coming out. So, also in the news that was going to be released at the TTA was Christian Aurora, of course, who owns CLE and also owns Asylum, was going to be bringing out a 20-year cigar. And if you were one of the lucky ones, you could smoke it in Aruba, or you've got to wait till next year. So, would you like to have been at Aruba and tasted the cigar, or are you going to wait till next year it comes out and try it? So, Jess.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for it to come out. I don't think. I don't know. I haven't had the 23, and I have the TAA 23 right now in my cart to order, and so I want to try that first. I was looking at the other TAA ones that they've done in the past, but most of them you have to buy full boxes.
Yep.
But the 23 TAA, they have that on single, and I'm gonna get that one, buy it in maybe buy 2 and compare them again when the 24 comes out.
So, what about you, Grump? Would you like to be in Aruba, or are you going to wait till it comes out and then you're going to try it in? Gary, excellent cigar, of course. Alma Fuentes, Generation V Solomon.
Very good.
Great cigar. One of my favorites. It is. I absolutely love that cigar.
Never had it, but I like a Solomon.
You know,
I
like that.
kind
I
of
just like that Latoba, man, for some reason. But
I'm just a big Percentia fan. Big Percentia
yeah, I
fan,
know.
and
Fanboy.
Yep.
So
Hey,
But
we've all
yeah,
got
here's
we've all got to
another.
have a fanboy in something.
yeah,
We have.
I hear you. I ain't
So
saying
here's
mine. And
another
then
another
I ain't saying
cigar.
mine. The leaf cutters done dissed me. I ain't saying mine. So.
What, Swishy Sweets?
No, Gurkha, damn it, Gurkha.
Gurkha.
Yeah, and leaf cutters
But
done dissed me on that. I throw a lighter at
here's
them.
another cigar that a lot of people probably don't know about. And it's the famous from Famous Smokes. They got the famous 80th anniversary. And
Yep.
just like Famous does with a lot of their brands, is that they have, places like Plasencia and Roca Patel and places like that roll their cigar. Oh well, this 80th anniversary is a Don Barton creation.
How about Steve Saka? You're going to be on for a good cigar with that, because you've only got to look at Saka. You've only got to look, of course, at Nick Manillo from Foundation. When they come from Drew Estate to making the League of Nine and different cigars to then doing their own and having great cigars and them selling, you've got two fantastic cigar makers there. And especially with Saka, anyway, because as Grumpy and me and Kurt and I know other people smoke cigars, smoke pipes, of course. He used to make pipe tobacco. And some of the pipe tobacco, you find bits of pipe tobacco in with the filler of the cigars that, of course, Don Barton just make. And it's crazy because you've got to look. There's so many out there and so many great cigars. But my next topic of conversation, themed cigars. So when I say themed cigars, of course, you've got to look at the Filthy Hooligan. You've got to look at, of course, the St. Paddy's Day cigar. Now Alec Bradley have just brought out the Hooligan, of course. Who is in a ghost going boo. So the Hooligan they've brought out. And then you've seen some other companies, of course, brought out Halloween cigars. Do you reckon it's to do with the hype of Halloween and they sell? Or do you reckon it's just another one of them to get money out of you? What do you reckon, Grump?
Well, I reckon I would have went to Aruba if I would have been in a position to afford a $750 cigar. So I'm waiting on it to come out. As far as Halloween cigar, it's just another, to me, in my mind, that's just another marketing gimmick, for the season. Put a little hype on a few things, put a little orange and black around a few things, make a few more dollars, for a cigar that's going to taste the same. I mean,
Great point. Great point.
It's all a show. It's all the visual, the show. It's get your attention, get your wallet.
Just want to read out a couple of comments actually before I come down with you, Jess,
Well, hey,
and ask you about the same. So, of course,
That's
I
a
do
good
have
cigar.
the Gurkha Gear the Dragon, very good cigar, and of course, he also says, Gary, there's two actually in the box, and Gary was very fortunate enough, of course, to get the box, which is a humidor as well. So he showed, of course, on the live with the Cigar Misfits the box, and it is a nice box. And we've managed to get the 5 count boxes over here. Of course, with Oscar Vivaldez, with AJ, the normal Gurkha blend, of course, the one he made with Ernesto for me, Picarillo. So we've got them over here, which I'm going to have a look into and see the price and maybe try them, because I like Gurkha. I'm not a big fanboy of Gurkha, but there's certain Gurkhas, like the Gurkha Ghost. So shut your ears, Jess. I like the Gurkha Ghost. I like the Gurkha Evil. And
I like the evil.
some of the other ones, like the Castle Hull, that they brought out. That's another little great cigar that they brought out by Gurkha. They've got a lot of different
Was
cigars,
that
and not
was
everyone's
that
gonna
that Gurkha?
hit your palate and you enjoy.
Yeah, it's like that Gurkha that I just had not too long ago. I had the Gurkha Reserva cognac, which is infused with the Louis 13 cognac, and it's a
Hmm.
Connecticut shade, but they did such a wonderful job blending that with the infusion that it is definitely on its own categories. You can't even, I don't even look at it as a Connecticut shade.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know something. You know what you're doing with doing an infusion with cognac and different things. The great, I just think, where Gurkha are at the moment, and we've mentioned this before, of course, you joined the group, and we were on about Gurkha. Gurkha now are trying to get the name back to where it was because in COVID they made a racial slur, and we were seeing a lot of the cigar lounges take Gurkha out and burn them. They weren't ever
Mhm.
going to sell them over the racial slur that he made. And when we were talking to Tanya Graham from Gurkha, it was kind of brought up when she was on the podcast, and we went on about it. And I think what they've done now with bringing the Year the Dragon out and using the different companies like AJ, like Ernesto, and
Hmm.
different ones, it's a case of trying to get their name back to where they were and getting Gurkha back to where they were because a lot went on. A lot of people weren't smoking them. Of course, they were having a lot of issues with construction, burn quality, different things, and hopefully Gurkha are back on track and it's working. But of course, Jess, we'll get on to you over, of course, these themed cigars for Halloween and different things. So, what's your take on it, my brother? What's your take?
Well, I'm right there with Grumpy.
What's up,
Um,
Tom?
the what's good, Tom? I think the large majority of these theme cigars are just that. They're just to get your attention, to grab your money. You know what I mean? Uh, I think there's very few companies out there that there's very few companies out there that make their theme cigars like a yearly special edition. I
Yeah.
think those are, I think, good cigars to go for, and stuff like that. I haven't had the Gooligan um, from Alec Bradley, but I do like Alec Bradley. So if I have
Yep.
a chance to try it, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna give it a shot. Um, it could be great. It could be mediocre. Um, but I'm gonna give it a shot, and hopefully they got something going. And but I do
Yeah.
I do like the yearly editions that some of these
Oh yeah.
companies put out.
I like
Like the Rocky
Jess. I
Patel
did.
Winter Edition.
Yeah. I
Well,
like, of
now,
course. I like the Filthy Hooligan. I like the Filthy Hooligan. I like the St. Paddy Day one, of course. And I had the 2021 version. I had the 22 version. It didn't live up to the 21. I had the 23 version. It didn't live up to the 21. I haven't
Mm.
tried the 24 version yet. And it seems to be where the fillet, the binder, and the wrapper were, and the taste, the notes have gone over the years of making it. And I think they've lost something.
Mm.
And I think they need to go back to the drawing board of when they originally had it out and recheck it. Because to me, it's changed. It's not like the 2021 version. That was something different. To these now that they've brought out, they've just changed. They have. But go on, Grump. Sorry, say what you're going to say, Grump.
oh, all I was going to say, we were talking about uh, some of the like annual type releases. That some of the companies, they do something. They'll do a cigar every year. Like a series or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't really, I don't really see those so much as the same as like the themes for holidays and things of that nature. But
Yeah.
I'm no cigar professional, but just in my feeble mind and train of thought, I would, if I was going to start a yearly, an annual release on a type of cigar, I mean, I would make sure that I had a solid supply of that tobacco
Yep.
that, you know, that when I rolled that first annual release, that cigar would be a phenomenal cigar. But
Yeah,
the
I'm sorry about that.
tobacco that I have reserved and put back to continue that line to have that one cigar released one time each year. And if I have a
Yep.
10-year supply of that tobacco, can you imagine what release number 10 is going to be like after it's already been aged and it's sat there another 10 years waiting for its
Yeah.
turn
Oh yeah.
to get used in that annual release? Can you imagine what that cigar would be like? Having an additional 10 years of age on it, the
What do you
tobacco,
reckon? Yeah, but do you
man.
reckon then? Do you reckon with these limited releases then, this is why they've kept the tobacco for so long to do a limited release run of a cigar, and once they're gone, and they'll never come out again?
Right.
Do you reckon that's why, of course, they're doing that as well? So,
Well,
Jess,
I
what do you reckon
mean,
on that? Well, go on, Grump. You have it.
no, go ahead,
You go on,
go ahead.
Jess.
No, go ahead, Jeff.
You know, well, it's like the Monte Cristo that's gonna be coming out, the Monte Cristo M. You know, they already said that it's going to be a a steady permanent line that they're gonna put out, but they're only gonna put out so much of it at a time. So they're not just gonna
So, like, if you
flood the
grill a
market
bit
like
block.
everything else. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Yeah. So they're just gonna release little by little, but it will be a normal steady line.
Yep. What do you
And
reckon, Grump? And what do you reckon to Gary's comment as well about wouldn't
that's
the
what I
aging
was going to
change the
say
flavour?
about the flavor changes. Yes, I would agree with you that that you are going to uh, you're going to come into some flavor changes. But the thing about those flavor changes, though, um, if you have the supply of tobacco, the flavor changes are going to come natural from that same blend of tobacco in every cigar. You're not going to have to. You're not going to run short this year. You're not going to have to scramble to find another. Find another uh, bundle of something else to put in and substitute. See, you're rolling that cigar every year with that same blend of tobaccos. You're not adding anything. You're not taking anything out. But exactly like you said, as the years roll, the aging of that tobacco, when you put it together, it is going to give you some flavor change, but it's going to be an all natural one. It's not going to be because you've had to run and substitute something. See what I mean? You're
Yeah.
holding
I'm just confused
you're,
words.
you're holding the
Mm-hmm.
consistency of your blend and your tobacco you're using, and you're holding that consistency throughout, and it's naturally changing its flavor. You're not monkeying with the recipe once you got the recipe, and that's why I say if it was me, I would see how much, how long can I run that annual series, you know, how much tobacco do I have?
Mm-hmm.
And then you could start it right out the front. This is going to be a 5 year series, you know, and you could
You
just number them,
well,
same tobacco, same
yep.
everything, and let nature change it.
Well, what do you reckon? Because I think with these general holidays of like Valentine's Day, of course St. Paddy's Day, Halloween, all these different ones. I know Christmas means a lot to people, and of course, if we go to the foundation of what Christmas properly meant, of course, it was the birth of Christ. And of course, we celebrate the birth of Christ and everything. But I know, of course, Christmas was the biggest one. But do you reckon, with a lot of these holidays now, do you reckon it's just a fad? There's basically, they brought it out, everybody goes crazy for Valentine's Day, everyone goes crazy for Halloween and certain things, and it's just a moneymaker. Do you reckon that's what that holiday is? This is a fucking moneymaker, and there's no true meaning, like Christmas when you see the kids open the presents, they're so excited to open the presents, you spend it with family, you spend it with loved ones. Do you reckon there's these other holidays, it's just a money fucking maker, basically? So Grump, because I know what you're gonna say straight away, and I know what Jesse's gonna say because I can see it right now Jesse's face. Well, go on, Grump.
Well, it is the commercialization of a nation. I mean, let me create a holiday, see what I can do with it. There wasn't none of all them holidays when we was kids growing up. I mean, my God,
Hey,
Valentine's
Loons Thanksgiving.
Day.
There you go.
Yeah, Valentine's Day, 4th of July. You
Yeah.
had Labor Day, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Now you got National Everything Day.
Well, Gary's
And
just said that.
exactly,
They're trying to
Gary.
use
They're
tradition.
exactly. That's exactly
Yep.
right. Tearing down the traditional families, the traditions. I mean, you may come from just like from Puerto Rico, man. Y'all got traditional celebrations down there,
Mm-hmm.
Yep, same as
and that's just
Mexico and
like,
different ones.
well, that's just like you were talking about the whole Christmas thing. Yes, we do
Yep.
celebrate Christmas when we celebrate Christmas, but that ain't the right day to celebrate. That's another rabbit hole. But if you want to know the truth about that, the day you're supposed to be celebrating is April the 1st. Nissan won. Now, what did the world go and do to April 1st? What did they go and do to Nissan won? Started calling it April Fool's Day.
Yep.
But
April
that's the
Fool's
day
Day.
you're supposed to be celebrating the birth. It's a rabbit hole you can go run down on your own, but you'll find it. Yeah, Gary, nuclear family it's all blended now. If it's a family with both parents or one parent, don't really matter. Most everything is blended somehow or other today. You're right.
But what about
Nuclear
you?
thing is gone.
What's your take, Jess, on it? Of course, with it being either a moneymaker or what?
I think very very few people celebrate any holiday really for its true meaning.
Right.
Um, you know, St. Patty's Day. No one actually celebrates St. Patty's the way it's supposed to. They just see it as a day to get fucking drunk. You got uh, uh, Christmas. Nowadays these kids are so into all this high tech shit that
Yeah.
if you don't get them the best thing, they're just not even happy. And it's like it's
Yep.
Christmas. You should be happy with your family. You know, and
Exactly.
Valentine's Day is just one that just I fucking hate Valentine's Day. Yeah, that one just irks me. And me and my wife, we feel the same way about Valentine's Day. I don't buy her flowers on Valentine's Day, or we don't go out on
Green
Valentine's Day.
G.
We either
That's
do
it,
it
man.
before or we do it after. But me sitting in a restaurant waiting room for 2 hours to sit down to eat dinner doesn't say I love you.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Uh,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous, and you know all these companies use the holidays for all this stuff.
Yep.
Uh, I actually watched a documentary on Coca-Cola, and this is from their own mouth. They were saying how Coca-Cola was doing great, It was a great summer drink. Everybody enjoyed it when it was hot. But in the
Yeah.
wintertime, they weren't selling. They just were not selling. And that's when they came into bringing in Santa Claus into the Coca-Cola
Holidays are
deal.
coming.
Uh,
Yep.
exactly. And that's how they got people to start drinking Coca-Cola in the wintertime. Nobody was drinking it in the wintertime.
No.
It's all money.
It's crazy.
All money.
Yeah, it's crazy. And this is the thing, it's always money. It's like here, of course, April Fool's Day, St. Paddy's Day, St. George's Day. Then we have, of course, bank holidays. That pretty much our bank holidays. That means you have President's Day or Labor Day and stuff like that. We have bank
Right.
holidays. Then, of course, Christmas, New Year. New Year to me has become one of them things of how can we make money on tickets to get you into our venue? How can we price our drinks higher so you drink? To me, last year was a great New Year. I stayed here, did what I needed to do with family, and then I caught up with Grumpy and the rest of the Loons and celebrated their New Year with them. And they celebrated my New Year here because of the time difference. That to me is great. Spending time with family on New Year is a great thing, same as Christmas. But like you said, Christmas isn't the way it used to be. If you get your present, you're excited, even if it's just a toy, a baseball bat, a mitten, or whatever. And now it's that thing of, I'll go have the latest phone, I'll go have the latest PlayStation, the latest Xbox, or the latest computer, or this, that. And when the kids don't get it, there's so much kicking off over it, and you're like, you should be grateful for what you've got, basically. And most kids aren't. And each one of them, you know something, my kids will get clothes. My son will get an Xbox card for his Fortnite. That's him. If he doesn't like it, guess what? Tough fucking shit. That's what you get for Christmas. And that's how I was brought up. Tough shit. You get what you get given. And it took a lot for my mum. It's
about being thankful.
My mum was a lonely parent. My dad walked out at the age of 4, didn't give a shit. My mum did everything. My grandparents, but my grandparents made up for whatever my mum couldn't make up for. And this is the thing. I just think now these holidays have got to where they don't have no true meaning. And this is the thing, and it's a lot of money. We're seeing this now, of course, getting into cigars, where it's the next type of what we can charge for a cigar. And we've mentioned it, $750 for a cigar. Going to $90 a cigar, $100, and so forth. To me, it doesn't mean it's going to be a great cigar that a $20 cigar or a $10 cigar is going to give you. It's like this. This charged me £25 over here. And, of course, it's the Cavalier Black 2. Smoking brilliant.
Yeah.
Want to go and buy another one? Yeah. I've smoked them left, right, and centre. But I also know is I enjoyed the Rocky Patel Smokes by Seed. The Seed to Smoke, sorry. And I've enjoyed them for the price point they are. There's that many different cigars on the market that we enjoy. We don't have to be paying a lot of money for a cigar to enjoy it. The same on pipes. You don't have to spend 90 to 150 for a pipe when you can get the same kind of pipe for, say, $30, $40. And this is a point that I'm getting on now towards the pipes. Grump, if you saw a nice pipe from Peterson's, would you go and pay that Peterson's price, or would you still use your corn cob? What would you use?
Well, if hey, Goofy Dog's Hutch, if I was into, if I had gotten back into the pipe, which we're just now doing, or I am anyway, but if I was like deep dive into the pipes, and I had started, collecting a few here and there, whatever, I would probably own a Peterson. I probably would. Let's see. Now, Mershawn has got a lot of different nice pipes, but one that I'm gonna get, I'm getting the cheap version of it,
Church Warden.
the Church Warden pipe. Now I've seen
I
a
know you've been
couple
saying
of
this stuff as
those.
well.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those that were, in the 80, 90, $100 range. If I was collecting pipes again and I had money to spend on things that I wanted to collect, I would have a Peterson, and then I would have to shop a little bit on that church warden because I've seen two or three that I really like. But I'd have me a fancy church warden pipe to go along with the cheap one that I'm getting ready to get. Probably first of the month now. I'll be waiting on that one
Yeah.
since I
Just
made
like
that
that.
Yeah.
trip to
Well,
Tennessee.
see,
So
That's my
I
starter
think
pipe. That's my starter pipe. And that was £20 over here. Now, my next pipe that I'm getting is that nice fancy wood that they use. This is just ebony wood. It gets really hot. But I've got a corn pipe in there. I've got another pipe. For two pipes with getting a corn cob and getting one of GQ's pipes, it's working out at £35. I can't get a Peterson's
that's not
pipe
bad.
for that. Peterson's pipe are
no,
over 90, 150. They just brought out the Christmas ones. The
yeah,
Christmas
yeah,
ones are
they're
going here for anywhere from 100 to 150. The Halloween
yeah.
series, Dracula series, they're going for 110, going up to 150. Why would you go and pay that? The dearest pipe I've seen is over $2.5 over here, and it's made by Dunhill. And basically, it's the Tutankhamun sarcophagus with, of course, your tamper. That's, of course, Tutankhamun's sarcophagus. Comes with a book. But I ain't going to pay $2.5 for a pipe that I'm never going to smoke. It's just crazy. It is. But go on, Jess.
Well, I was gonna say that there's a difference though between spending money on uh, a fancy uh, utensil like a pipe or a cutter or a lighter.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, um, I mean, there's so many things in life. I mean, firearms, the same thing. People will spend money on expensive ones on that. It's the consumable part that it's hard to spend the money on. A cigar that you smoke once and it's gone. Ammunition that you use at target practice and then now it's gone. Pipe tobacco. You're not gonna spend, $150 on a can of pipe tobacco. You know what I mean? So I think that's the huge difference between buying an expensive pipe or any other kind of smoking utensil versus something that you're gonna consume and it's a one time and done.
It is. It's
Well,
more of an
that's the thing.
investment.
Yeah, you look at your cutters. Of course, you can get your cheap cutters. They're $2, $3. You can get your cutters where they're 30 to 40, going up to more. If you've got a good cutter and you look after it, it's going to last a long time. The same as your lighter. You've got a good lighter, you regularly clean it, you keep a good eye on it, it's going to last you for a lifetime. The same as, of course, our nubbers that Kurt's made us. They're going to last a long time. And
Yeah.
Kurt does these at a
Yeah.
fantastic price. They'll last you a great time. And this is the thing,
Yeah,
you
this
don't
is
have
great.
to invest a lot of money to enjoy cigars or to enjoy a pipe. It's like the 50 grams over here, which don't ask me the equivalents in ounces. I don't know the American equivalent. But over
It's
here
6
for a
grams.
It's like
tobacco,
It's
it's like
6
almost
grams
it's almost 3
shy.
grams.
It's 6 grams shy of 2 ounces.
well, 6 grams shy 2 ounces. It works out
Yeah.
Yeah,
here
yeah.
at $25. That's going to last me 2 months. I've got 150 grams of the stuff coming. That's going to last me for 4 months.
Well, you divide
You invest in your fund.
divide your grams by 28, and you'll figure out how many ounces you got.
Okay, Grump. I don't do numbers. That's why that's why I leave all that side to you guys. But of course, we have
Old
been in the
days
Cigar Loons
mathematics.
tonight. Yeah, we have been in the Cigar Loons tonight.
Street
of course.
day mathematics.
And
Yes.
of course,
Street math.
You've had, of course, Grumpy. You've had, of course, Jesse and myself. And a big shout out again to, of course, Vital and Proof Matthew. And of course, Cigar Kurt. Thank you to everyone
Miss
that's
you
been
guys.
watching us.
The hell, he
And
sounds like
from
he's
the mis-
leaving.
From the Misfits and everyone, we're going to be wrapping it up in a minute, my brother. We are. But of course, Thursday night, make sure to come and check us out on Thursday night. We've got the Leaf Cutters gang joining us. And we're going to be live, of course, at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific, and 12 a.m. in England. And that's going to be Thursday night with the Leaf Cutters. Great gang of guys. Of course, please go and subscribe to their channel on YouTube. Please subscribe to ours. Hit that notification button so you know when we go live. Check out, of course, our website for different blogs that are coming out. Go and check out, of course, tobaccogSticks.com, and you'll find different blogs on there as well that Jesse's posting, so go and check out that. And we've also got another new website that's going to be launched soon. That's going to be, of course, Beards, Boots, Bourbon, and Cigars. So that's going to be coming out very soon. And go and check out our social media because we're coming out with new stuff, new cigars, pairings, different things. And you know something, we enjoy this. And we've got some more great cigar industry guests coming up. And at the end of the month, we've got United Cigars coming. So United Cigars are the end of this month's guest. And then, of course, next month, we've got something exciting coming. I'm not going to tell you next month because I'm not going to ruin the fun. But we've got something great coming next month. So make sure
Well,
We
to
got
check
a lot of great coming up.
And it's all down to the work of Grumpy, of course, Jesse and Matthew and Kurt and myself. We're getting in touch with these guests to bring you this great content, asking these questions that you don't find on other podcasts that they're asking. And I know it sometimes makes us look a fool, but you know something, we're going to ask them questions. And I also believe, Grump, we're going to be going down a rabbit hole or two again, aren't we, soon? I believe.
That's what I
Definitely
hear.
do.
That's what I hear.
So get your tin
You
hats
know, it
ready.
is.
Get your tin hats
It
ready.
is. Yeah, it is 2 weeks to election, so them rabbit holes are popping up everywhere, brother.
There's too many of them.
Oh, there's too many of them. There's too many P. Diddy ones that are going around and different things that we're seeing. Yep. Okay, I've already got my baby lotion ready. Come on, P. Diddy. I'm waiting for you, my brother. But on a different note, of course.
Yeah, a real different note from that, man.
Yeah. There's so
I'm
much
like Cat.
out
I'm
there.
like Cat Williams, man. Sometimes you just got to tell him no. You got to protect. You got to protect that.
There's too many
You
though.
just
There's
got
too
to tell
many.
him.
There's too many things that we're seeing. There's too many things that we're seeing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we'll never know the truth until it finally hits. And this is the thing, of course, of a court case that's going on in the States at the moment with someone that was on death row. And they managed, of course, to stop him from, of course, getting killed on death row. And his case is gone on at the moment. And we'll never know the truth of that until, of course, it's finally revealed. But there's loads out there, and you know something, we do try and go down them rabbit holes. We try and make it fun and entertaining, and of course Gary's enjoyed. He says good night, Loons, and to all. So thank you, Gary, for
Good night,
tuning in,
brother.
and thank you to everyone else.
Appreciate
Of
you being
course,
here,
we
brother.
have been the Cigar Loons. So, Jesse, say your same, my brother.
Yes, thank you everybody for coming in today. And don't forget, keep them lit.
Grumpy.
Hey, just remember, I love you. Jesus loves you. But if he ain't driving your bus, pull over, get out the driver's seat, let Jesus take the wheel. He drives better than you and me do. Till next time, catch me later.
Of course, when I can find the fucking outro video, which is playing up at the moment. But for me, stay smoky.
We was
of course.
flowing
I love
smoothly
these
till it got to you.
It's all these technical issues. I'm being paying the hamster, have I? So he ain't doing the work. So I'm gonna go shoot the hamster in a minute. So I'll see you next week. Well, not next week. I'll see you on Thursday. Jeez,
I started to
technical
say.
issues, forgetting the dates.
Yeah.
Bye. It's been one of them crazy kind of nights, hasn't it, the Cigar Loons? But we'll catch you next week. I'm going to play out our number one song, as we say. But hey up, get voting for it if you want. We'll see you next time.
From the depths of the internet, a podcast did arise. A trio of loons with cigars in their eyes. They've invaded the world with their smoky surprise. The Cigar Loons, they're oh so wise. Lunatic invaders of the cigar world, spreading smoke and laughter, their stories unfold. From the finest lips to the wildest tales, the Cigar Loons never fail to prevail. With their witty banter and infectious glee, they've captured hearts, you see. They're more than just smokers, they're a family, united by cigars, a brotherhood free. Invaders of the cigar world, spreading smoke and laughter, their stories unfold. From the finest lips to the wildest tales, the Cigar Loons never fail to prevail. They've got the knowledge, the passion, the flair, a podcast powerhouse beyond compare. So light up a stogie and join the affair. The Cigar Loons are always there.